Anyway, thoughts on this card. Do you know, this card was supposed to be fantastically headlined by, I think it was Georges St-Pierre and Nick Diaz. I think that was the idea. That got changed because Nick Diaz didn't bother turning up for the press conference. So they put him against BJ Penn, because I think BJ Penn's original character who he was going to face also dropped out. And so Georges St-Pierre was supposed to be fighting then Carlos Condit. I think they might have swapped those round, you know. I think they might have swapped that round. I think it could have been Carlos Condit and BJ Penn, and then they swapped it, or I don't know. My memory fails. The point is, of course, that Georges St-Pierre can't make it now. Here's the thing, not just about a champion, but about fighters in general. 99% of fighters fight injured. Because 99% of fighters are always injured in some way. Small injuries, often repetitive strain injuries in fact, or injuries that they have not healed properly, and so they've always got a bad arm or something like that. These people will fight anyway. If they are medically cleared to fight, 8 out of 10 fighters probably would fight. And then there's GSP, who takes incredible care of himself, but will not fight if he's feeling at all injured. And I mean, this is not an injury that he has had to pull out from. This is an injury that he is choosing to pull out from, which I think at championship level is actually it's not acceptable. So I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to do the main event first, and then start at the bottom and work up. So we've now got Nick Diaz and BJ Penn, and Nick Diaz, his record is better than BJ Penn's, which surprised me really. Nick Diaz is on a 10-fight win streak for a start, with a 25-7 record. BJ Penn, it's true to say he has never been the prodigy at welterweight. He just hasn't. His past record: win, loss, win, draw. Do you know, at welterweight, I don't think he will win. I know that sounds strange, but that's what I think. As for Cesar Gracie, do you know, now they are main event. I wonder if it will be 5 rounds simply because they are main evented, with the absence of GSP. But who is Cesar Gracie to even start orchestrating shit like, well, we can do 5 rounds if Penn can do 5 rounds. Hello, if he's not in charge of Zuffer, it's got nothing to do with him, and he should really just leave it alone. Right, Dustin Jacoby and Clifford Starks, both the debutees. Dustin Jacoby, okay, he has a perfect record of 6, wins by TKO. He's fought 5 times this year already, and one of which he has beaten Ryan Sturdy. He is from Finney's Hit Squad. Finney, by the way, Jesse Finney, took over Matt Hughes' gym, and now it's Finney's Hit Squad. Whatever. And Clifford Starks, he's got a perfect record of 7, also likes to win by TKO. He has not fought any calibers. Do you know, just because I'm pissed off, basically, at the way that Jesse Finney has basically... well, let's just say all the people that I knew that were training there, and all the trainers that I knew that were training from there, have gone. So there must be something wrong with him. So just for that reason, I'm going to go for Clifford Starks. Sorry if that upsets people. The next bout is Chris Camozzi and Francis Carmont. Now, Francis, 16-7, wins by TKO and submission, loses by submission. He is on a 5-fight win streak, but he has lost in his record before to a few minor calibers, Whereas Chris Camozzi, he's back from a jaunt, one-fight jaunt, in fact, in Strikeforce. He has faced much better calibers in his time and also beaten them. He is at a higher level, personally, I think. And I think this is a little bit of a squash match for him. So I'm going to go for Chris Camozzi. I might give Francis Clement the benefit of the doubt and go for decision there. Ramsey in a gym and Dan Downs. You'll remember Ramsey as a tougher. And if you don't know Dan Downs, you should get to know him because he's absolutely fantastic. I really like him. I think he's a sucker punch fighter or an affiliate thereof. I am definitely supporting him, and having looked at Ramsey's record, I don't think he'll have too much trouble. I'm going to go for a bar submission in the second by Dan Downs there. And Brandon Vera versus Elliot Marshall. Brandon Vera has not had such a good time lately. He's lost several in a row, but they were all to extremely high caliber people. I in fact met Brandon Vera briefly at UFC 85. Elliot Marshall, you'll remember, is a tougher. I think the institution are hoping that Brandon Vera sort of makes a comeback here. I shall go for a decision victory by Brandon on that. Part Balazewski and Tyson Griffin. This is a fantastic match which could be fight of the night. Tyson Griffin is a name taker. He hasn't done so well recently. He's in fact now recovering from 3 losses in a row. Bart Balazewski, on the other hand, had an amazing streak in the IFL and WEC. This, however, is his first fight this year. Do you know, in one way Bart Balazewski would be the perfect name for Tyson Griffin to take, but there's also no particular reason why Tyson Griffin would win this one on paper or with skills, really. I know that's prime for him winning, but I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say I think Bart will take it. I will go for decision. It might be fight of the night. It might be very close as well. There we are. Moving on, Dennis Siver and Donald Cerrone. Okay, Dennis Siver, the German who has done very, very well recently. He's on a 4-fight win streak. He has faced very reasonable calibers, but he is fighting Donald Cerrone here. This is a step up for him, and if he does beat Donald Cerrone, the limelight awaits him for certain. Donald Cerrone is the exciting wrestler from the Jacksons camp, who was very big in WEC. He held the championship there at one point. He's on a 5-fight win streak, and indeed he might actually have to go back to his wrestling roots for this one, because Dennis Siver is very good on the ground and loves submissions. Unfortunately for him, he also does lose by submission, and I think Donald Cerrone has it in him to do that. So, after all, he has 12 submission wins, does Donald. So I'm going to go for that. I'm going to go for a bar submission in the third there. Hokey Koki versus, oh no, sorry, what? Hatsu Hoki, something like that. Anyway, is fighting George Roop. If you've ever looked at his record, you will know that a lot of people who are counting him out because he's a debutee are very, very silly. He was quite big in Pride. He's fought quite a lot of American people. He's not got a record that's full of, you know, Oriental names, because a lot of those come across from organisations like Pride and fall flat on their face, don't they? No, but Hatsu, I think, is actually extremely dangerous. His record is 24 and 4. And he loves submissions. George Roop also is the perfect person to give him if you want him to win, because let's look at George Roop's background, shall we? Loss, win, loss, draw, win, loss, win. And his record is only 12 and 7. He also comes from Team Tompkins, and I don't know if his training camp will have been upset, of course, by the death of Tompkins not so long ago. I'll go for Hatsuhoki on this one, and I shall go for choke submission in the second. Another bout which could be fight of the night is Scott Jorgensen and Jeff Curran. Jeff Curran, in terms of Sucker Punch, is sort of like his stable provides probably about half the people for Sucker Punch Entertainment, which is something that I'm very supportive of. And he, of course, had a run in WEC which was very good until he lost several in a row because he was fighting the very, very top of the division. He's back under the Zuffa umbrella now, and he is fighting Scott Jorgensen. His record dwarfs Scott's. Scott is 12-4, Jeff is 33-13. That includes 19 submission wins and 13 decision wins. I'm going to go for Jeff Curran just because I think that his experience is probably going to get Scott Jorgensen at some time. Scott also is quite large in WEC, and he is very, very colourful, in fact, and that's not just a reference to his tattoos. His skin's also very weird, sort of mottled. But anyway, he's a fantastic fighter as well, and I actually like both of these two. If this ended in a draw, it would not disappoint me, and I think that this also has the potential to be fight of the night. I am, however, going to have to side with Jeff Curran, and I'll go for decision there. Mirko is fighting Roy Nelson. All that needs to be said here is that although Mirko is probably on his way down, I hope to heaven that he wins, because the thought of Mirko being possibly pushed into retirement by the Blob is unthinkable, absolutely unthinkable. And Jake Congo is fighting Matt Mitrione. Matt Mitrione has a perfect record of 5. He, incidentally, is from Rufus Sport, which is sort of the other half, the stable that provides the other half of the people for Sucker Punch Entertainment, which is quite interesting. He likes to win by TKO, and I in fact met him at the UFC 120 Fan Expo in London last year. He's fighting Jake Congo, who, incidentally, I have also met. I met him several years ago at Cage Gladiators, an organisation in Liverpool, and this is because he trains out of a gym not too far away from there called the Wolf Slayer. You know, the thing about Jake Congo is his record's a bit dodgy. Win, loss, loss, win, draw, win. And his fight against Pat Barry and his win against Pat Barry was hello, a bit lucky. I think that the biggest danger that Matt Mitrione faces from Jake Congo is bound to be the low blow that happens in one in each round, probably. I'm going to go for Matt Mitrione. I might even go for TKO in the second. That could be the underdog of the card. And those are my predictions for UFC 137.